I would have thought, in terms of shifting the strength of the debate on the mining tax to Clive Palmer's behaviour, has really played into Julia Gillard's hands. So we'll get to that in a second. But when the mining tax went through, you could sense all the frustration that had built up inside Julia Gillard and her approach to this. And you got what was really, I think, the equivalent of the two-finger salute, only in a verbal sense, when she had this to say.
I come to these press conferences a lot and I get told at every one of them, gee, you won't get X or Y through. I put up with months and months of scoffing about the carbon price. Guess what? It's the law of Australia today. I've put up with months and months of scoffing about the minerals resource rent tax. Guess what? It went through the Senate last night. Before we start on a process of months and months of scoffing about whether or not we'll get through the company tax cuts, I think I'm entitled to go scoreboard, and at the moment it's running more in my favour than yours. Yes, at the back.
Scoreboard.
Well, it's a win-win for Julia Gillard, really. If she doesn't get the company tax cuts through for larger businesses, I guess that's a bit of revenue they get to keep. And let's face it, the way the MRRT is going, we see a lot of speculation that it's just not going to rake in the sort of money they're talking about. So she gets to wedge the opposition for opposing business tax cuts and maybe to keep some revenue.
She's going to have to do something for business, because otherwise the whole rationale of spreading the benefits sort of starts to fall to pieces.
Well, yeah, except that if the benefits aren't very great because it's not actually raking in that much, then I suppose the pain created by the tax in terms of its collection is not that high either.
I think that one lesson for federal Labor out of this state election result goes to the heart of what federal Labor are trying to do, and that is to create an idea in the public's mind of who they stand for, know what they stand for and who they stand for. Because state Labor was basically destroyed because of the fact that they ended up not being able to tell people what they stood for and not being able to identify who they stood for. And I think federal Labor have been trying to position themselves using the fair go as a sort of the heart of their argument. And I think this will give weight to that sort of thing. Whether they're successful or not, who knows? It's perhaps a bit early.